The 20-year-old god. He was 20 years old when he became king. Think about that for a second. At 20, most people today are still finding themselves. They're staring at phone screens, they're wandering through a university campus, wondering what they want to be when they grow up. Alexander, he was inheriting a kingdom on the brink of a bloody, total collapse. By 25, he had never lost a single battle. By 30, he ruled the largest empire the world had ever seen. And by 32, he was a memory. But before the divinity, before the legend, and before the gold, there was only a boy. A boy living in a 5-story palace of secrets, haunted by a curse that should have destroyed him. This is WHC.
Before history as we know it, civilizations awoke. Empires rose from deserts, rivers, and mountains, leaving stories carved in stone. Some stories shaped the world, others almost forgotten, until now. The past speaks again. Welcome to Forgotten History, World History Chronicles.
And today, we reveal how a teenager from a barbarian backwater conquered the known world. If you're obsessed with how history's greatest icons were forged, hit that subscribe button right now. You do not want to miss where this journey ends. Macedonia was the laughingstock of Greece. To the sophisticated elites of Athens and Sparta, these were mountain men, unrefined, drunkards, dangerous. But inside the 5-story marble halls of the palace at Pella, a transformation was happening that would change humanity forever. Imagine the scale of this place. Massive white pillars, rooftop gardens looking out over a kingdom of hardened warriors. This wasn't just a home, it was a fortress of the mind. Alexander wasn't raised as a typical prince, he was raised as a human weapon. His father, Philip II, gave him the phalanx, the most terrifying, unstoppable military formation in history. He taught him how to lead men who were twice his age, men who had survived 100 battles. But his tutor? That was the secret. Aristotle, the greatest mind in history, gave him the cosmos. Imagine sitting in a candlelit library at 16 years old, with Aristotle explaining the logic of war, the ethics of power, and the secrets of the soul. Aristotle didn't just teach him to think, he taught him that the world was a puzzle, waiting to be solved by a sword. But while Aristotle fed his mind, his mother, Olympias, fed his ego. She was a woman of dark rituals and deep mysteries. She whispered a secret into his ear that would become his curse. She told him that Philip was just a mortal, and that Alexander's true father was Zeus himself, king of the gods. This wasn't just a childhood story, it was a psychological blueprint. He grew up believing he was a god in human skin, and gods, they do not lose. I want to know what you think. Was this belief his greatest strength or his greatest madness? Comment genius or madman below right now. 336 BC. The air in the royal theater was thick with sweat and tension. Philip II was at the absolute zenith of his power. He had just unified Greece and was preparing to invade Persia, the greatest superpower the world had ever known. Then, a flash of steel changed history in a heartbeat. A bodyguard, a man Philip trusted, stepped forward and drove a dagger through the king's ribs. The invincible lion was dead. In an instant, the palace became a shark tank. The Greek cities saw a boy on the throne, and they smelled blood. Every general in the Macedonian army thought they could wear the crown better than a 20-year-old student. They expected a child they could control. They expected a weakling they could puppet while they tore the kingdom apart. They forgot one thing. Alexander had been studying the Iliad since he could crawl. He didn't want to be a king. He wanted to be Achilles, the legendary warrior hero. He slept with a dagger and a copy of Homer under his pillow every single night. While the world celebrated his father's death, the boy wasn't grieving. He was waiting. The revolt was instant. Thebes and Athens rose up, mocking the boy king. They called him a child playing at war. They thought he was a joke. Alexander did not wait for a council. He did not ask for permission. He marched. He covered 300 miles in 2 weeks, a speed that was physically impossible for that time. When he arrived at the gates of Thebes, he gave them one final chance to surrender. They laughed. They thought their walls could stop a teenager. They were wrong. Alexander did not just defeat them, he leveled the city. Every house, every temple. He sold 30,000 men, women, and children into slavery and erased one of Greece's greatest powers from the earth in a single afternoon. The laughter stopped. The curse of Macedon had become the terror of the world. He wasn't just a prodigy anymore. He was a predator. And now he had the unified power of Greece behind him, and he was looking east, toward the setting sun, toward Persia. With Greece silenced, Alexander turned his eyes to an empire so vast it made Macedonia look like a grain of sand. He had no money, a mutinous army, and a world of skeptics, but he had the curse of his mother's whispers and the logic of Aristotle's war. He stood on the shore of the Hellespont, flung his spear into the Asian soil, and claimed an entire continent as his, won by the sword. The boy is gone. The conqueror has arrived. But the impossible war is only just beginning. How does a kid with a small army take down a million-man empire? Click the next video, Part 2, to see the battle that changed the world forever. You are watching WHC. We will see you at the front lines.